It's Wednesday, 11 games. It's a big day. We had big performances. Big Jusuf Nurkic, the big fella, had a big performance, and big Josh Minot had another big performance. I've got these big headphones on. It's big. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and the review for this in the Herald Sun said front bottom of the barrel. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me. I don't need to tell you where you can find me. You don't need to worry about that. What you do need to know is today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers right now can get $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com right now to get started. And thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms. Why am I wearing these stupid headphones you might be watching, or you might be thinking if you're watching on YouTube? Well, having computer difficulties, the CPU and the RAM on this computer are bugging all the way out. I've ordered a new computer. I'm waiting for it to arrive. And then yesterday, I thought I'd done a lot of things to try and minimize the stress on the computer to stop the snap, crackle, and pop, but apparently it returned. So I've got these back on to monitor so I can cut and stop and fix it when need be. I'll look like an idiot, but I do it because I don't want the crackle or the pop either. Maybe the snap. No, not the snap either. We are here to talk about the games from Wednesday. There were 11 of them, 11 big ones. And we're just going to get straight in here, I think, because there's so much for us to talk about here. So, first game, Philadelphia, Cleveland. In Cleveland, the Cavs win 132-121 is your final score. There was no Joel Embiid. So the big fella, Adem Bona, started 132-121 was the score. I told you that already. You didn't need me to say it twice, but that's okay. Let's start with the dominatrix, VJ Edgecombe. Bad. 37 minutes, 7-4-4, no threes, no steals, no blocks, and 21% shooting. Now, there was a lot of stuff happening early in the season that just wasn't going to hold. But the encouraging thing was the minutes, and they're still there. The usage, under 20. That's sort of where it's sitting at the moment. But he just couldn't hit any shots. We got no defensive stats, and he didn't hit any threes. It was always going to pull back. There were some silly thoughts of him being a consistent top 40 player. Never going to happen. Now we're moving back to, like, hey, don't overreact to this. It'll be better than what we've got here. But we had to expect this. As for Bona, you have him for one reason. It's blocks. He got you none. So, John Armstrong?
Get that garbage out of here.
I actually agree. I agree in a big way. What we did get, though, was the big avocado. Andre Drummond. 13-13, 1 steal, 2 blocks. 86%. They went with him over Bona. Understandably, he was good here. Do you add him? No. No, don't do it. You could consider streaming on a day that you know Embiid is out, but that is it. Don't react too much. It was also another bloody good game from Trent Watford. I don't know what will happen when Dom Barlow returns, but 16-3 6 and 2 steals. He's at least in the deep league discussions. Tyrese Maxey has been unbelievable. Not as good today, bad free throws, but 27-7-9 with a steal is strong, while Oubre had 19, 4 threes, remains a must roster, and Grimes, only 32 minutes, but an awesome 27 points. Now, Jared McCain wasn't playing. For some reason, he couldn't play the back-to-back despite just having a thumb injury, so I don't really know what happened there. And I don't think McCain will impact 12-team leagues, except that I think he might just cut the top a little bit off what Grimey's been doing. For now, you roster Grimes, you roster Oubre, you don't worry about McCain, and I think you still roster Edgecombe, but I could easily see us get into a spot where BJ doesn't remain a must-roster guy. I don't think it's going to happen, but I can see how it would. On the Cleveland side of this game, they got some players back. Most importantly, Darius Garland. He was back, and that meant that DeAndre Hunter, DeAndre Hunter did go to the bench. He was actually out in this one with an illness. And we also saw that Jarrett Allen returned, meaning Larry Nance went to the bench. Let's have a look at Garland. We know it was going to be limited. We know that he is usually quite bad when he returns from injuries. 8 points, 27%, 4 assists, 2 threes. Just Don't be upset that it's bad. Just be glad that it happened. Realistically, like, he's here. It's going to take a bit of time. We knew this. We knew that was going to happen. Jalen Tyson got the start. 2 steals, 1 block, 3 assists, 2 threes. It's really good. But, of course, Hunter coming back will push him back down, but he's been really strong. And Evan Mobley had 23 and 5 with 2 blocks. But the 2 bigger performances, Jarrett Allen. Now, this man has been allergic to getting blocks, so he decided to get 3 of them today and 3 steals with a huge 24 and 10. A huge performance after some slow ones earlier on. And then the Donnie Mitchell dropped in 46, 4 and 8 with 6 threes on, of course, ludicrous 71% shooting. Larry Nance on the bench now, so we can generally ignore that. And then Slam and Sammy Merrill. Interesting they went with Tyson over Merrill here, and I do think that Hunter will get that spot back, but he hit his 4 threes. He's part of Sam's club. You know that. You stream for threes, and that's realistically all he's going to be providing. And unless someone's pranking me in these headphones, I think the crackle is okay. I think we're good at the moment. Fingers crossed. Next game. This is one of these games where we're going to have a lot of performances to talk about, but it is worth remembering. For whichever player I talk about, look at who the opponent is. The Nets beat the Pacers 112-103, and we got a really interesting development in Brooklyn. They said, screw it, we drafted 7 point guards, none of them are playing. We'll put a Tari in, screw it, he's gone as well. Cam Thomas is our new point guard. Oh, he's injured now as well. So they went big, and sort of big, but the guy that I've said for 2 years now is their best prospect, Noah Clowney. He got to start, and I didn't see it coming. Let's start with Clowney, because it's probably the big story here. 30 minutes, 17 and 4, 2 threes. He's a big man who is a good free throw shooter. Now, his field goals were atrocious last season, but they've been better. And I hope he can get some of the shot blocking back. Is Noah Clowney worth a bit of a crack, a bit of a look in a 150-player league? Probably not. But in a 14-team or 180 team, that 180 player? Maybe. Look, if he's going to start and play 30 minutes with a 3-point rebounding, scoring, good free throws, shot blocking profile, he can move into standard league territory. Nick Claxton is absolutely on fire at the moment, and I don't really know where this came from. Not only is he getting assists every game, which just might be a new thing, 18, 10, and 6, 3 steals and 2 blocks, but now he's hitting free throws. 8 of 10 from the line and 56 overall, while Michael Porter Jr., 32 and 11 with 4 threes. Good field goals, bad free throws. He took nearly every shot. But the bad news is, well, it depends on if you like watching good basketball. If you like watching good basketball, it's actually good news because Cam Thomas is going to be out for a little bit of time here, I think. Left the game with hamstring tightness, the same hamstring he injured 3 times last season, which kept him to 25 games. Do I expect that level of absence from Thomas? Not really, but I'm also certain he's not playing in the next week. And this wasn't necessarily the reason I was not into it. It's the nature of the team, but also you got to have a level of caution around him as a player, and that's 4 hamstring injuries in 12 months. Thomas went scoreless. Cool. Can you drop him? No. Hold him for now and let's see what they say. But what it does do is it means that guys like Terrence Mann, 15, 1 and 6 with 2 steals, and Tyrese Martin, 16, 5 and 2 with 4 threes, at least move into short-term streaming territory. Both of those games are really good, but again, remember, look who's on the other side of this matchup. Look who they're playing against. So they're good games, but can they do it against an NBA team that's not rolling Talon Peter out there and the recently signed Cody Martin? Don't know. That's going to be the big question. Jaeger Diamond played 13 minutes. Surely no one's holding him.
Get that garbage out of here!
0 points, 2 steals, 0 of 6 shooting. He, at the moment, looks exactly like the prospect that I reacted harshly to when the Nets picked him at that spot. He could easily be better than this, but like what I'm seeing now is just like, it's pretty yuck, yeah. It's not looking good at this point. Let's talk about the Indiana side of this game because, like I said, they've still got injuries. No Mathurin, no Nembhard, no McConnell, no Quentin Jackson with a hammy, and they said he's going to be out for a while. That could be a multi-month one. Could be grade 3. Not good. Obi Toppin's out. John Furphy was out. So we did get Ben Shepherd moving back into the starting lineup and not Cam Ledger, Ray J. Dennis. Now, Ray J had played really well. Remember we talked about him over the weekend, I think it was, and really big games, really big minutes. He played 5 minutes. What? So this is one of these ones, and this team is going to be like this all season, and you'll see a couple of these examples where we're just going to be like, we're going to be chasing our tails, trying to find the performance that we like. Because Dennis, the last time he had the chance, it was great. But you said today, Ben Shepherd decided he was going to play basketball. 18, 4 and 3, 3 threes, 1 steal, 1 block, 35 minutes. And now do I go and double back down on my thought from before where he's a solid rotation player who's in a larger role as a starter? Maybe I like it because it was obviously terrible. I heard crackles. So I'm finding it really hard with this team to try and figure out how to get these players and feel confident. In fact, you shouldn't feel confident at all because everybody and their dog was all about, it's got to be Isaiah Jackson. Here it is. It's happening. I had some level of skepticism with it, and this is literally exactly why. 20 minutes, 8 points, 7 rebounds, no blocks. Bro. Because he was outplayed by Jay Huff and Jeremiah Robinson Earl, who's on a 10-day hardship exemption contract. He had 8 and 15, Robinson Earl. Huff had 16 points, 4 threes, and 2 blocks. Okay. What do you do? For example, if a hot player is on the waiver wire and you want to drop Jackson, I would think about it, but because of 3 weeks of seeing this stuff, of constant chops and changes, and when they aren't good players and there are other viable options, Carlisle's going to do it. So I'm not running to add Robinson Earl. I'm not stuffing Huff into my bench, which sounds like I'm doing something illegal. I'm just finding it hard to get excited. And the same goes with Satan's best mate, the national title, Jarris Walker. Hello. 6, 6, and 6 for his points, rebounds, and assists. He had a block, and he shot 27%. He was a very high lottery pick. I think he might be bad. I think he just might be bad. I think he can't shoot at all. And while the minutes are okay, I'm fine with holding him, but I think he just might be bad. And it's not going to have long-term value. Pascal Siakam continues to absolutely suck with his percentages, especially free throws in this one, 33%. And Nesmith was okay, but he also can't shoot when placed into this role. 15 points, 7 rebounds on 35%. Honestly, at the moment, the only guy I feel good about is Siakam. And even he is hurting you. I don't feel good about adding Shepherd or holding Jackson or even holding Nesmith or holding Walker. I think generally, I would probably try to hold Walker because of the minutes. I'd consider a stream of Shepherd, but I think it's going to be really, really ugly until we get more information about Nembhard and about Mathurin and when they come back. That's really how it's sort of transpiring at the moment. Today's episode is brought to you by Gusto. Gusto is the all-in-one remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. Whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees, Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or hidden fees. You get unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, which means no surprise charges at the end of the month. And Gusto's automated tools like offer letters, onboarding materials, and direct deposits save me hours every week. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's right. The first 3 months free payroll at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. That is gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. We're talking the NBA games here from Wednesday. We'll get into the next 9 of them. Yeah, next 9. The next game is the Utah Jazz and the Detroit Pistons. The Jazz rolled out the same starting lineup as last game, and we know that Walker Kessler is out for the season. But also remember, we've seen the team without Walker Kessler the last 2 games. So my discussion this morning in the waiver-wire show, which it had been for the last few days, was about the value of Jusuf Nurkic. Now, his field goal percentage, trash. 25%. And it's been that way in the 3 starts. But bro, 6 and 17, 4 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, and hit both his free throws. Again, it probably isn't this good. He probably doesn't play 33 minutes every night, but he is a must-roster player. At the end of the season, maybe they change things around, but it is worth noting that Kyle Filipowski doesn't really play center for this team. 20 minutes, 4 points, 1 block. Maybe that changes later on. Taylor Hendricks, 18 minutes, 7 rebounds, nothing else. Nurkic is your guy. Those lines from Hendricks and Filipowski, which has been the way basically through these 3 games, are not even useful enough to hold to stash to see if something changes. Larry Markkinen had 25 and 4 with 2 steals, but shot really poorly. He is falling back after that insane hot start. And it was probably the worst game from Keontae George. But importantly, he still got to the line 7 times. Now, 33% from the field is bad. 19, 2, and 5. But we take those. What we also take, if for some reason you had him, Svi Mykhailiuk, 28 points, 6 threes. I think he had like 20 points in the first half. And then we got regular Svi after that. Don't buy into it. Don't get excited by it. Yeah, he's starting, but he shot 63%. He took a lot of shots, 16 of them, in fact. It's not going to be the real thing. What this means, though, with him providing this role, Ace Bailey's just not playing. 19 minutes, 9 points. And I refuse to believe it's any sort of minutes restriction or illness or anything. I think he's bad at the moment. So you do not bother with Ace Bailey. Well, Walter Clayton had his 5 assists, and also Isaiah Collier, DMP-CD, 2 games in a row. The first game you could go, okay, he's ruled healthy, but we'll just integrate him in. That's 2 games. Is he just not going to be part of the rotation? Is Clayton just better than him? Possibly. I know that I definitely would not bother holding Isaiah Collier in 150-player leagues. Maybe 200-player leagues, not anything more than that. There's too many holes in what he does, and too much established players, or too many, one, Keontae George, it makes no sense that they would switch that up at this point. So, yeah, I don't really see the purpose in holding on to Isaiah Collier as a maybe starting point guard. No, not happening. On the Pistons, still no Tobias Harris. We got Alf Stewart, and you'll be shocked to know it was nowhere near as good as the last game. But still, 10-6, 2 threes, 3 blocks. He, at the moment, is good enough to be rostered. Will he be an all-season must roster? Probably not. But at least there are 2 pathways to value. Jalen Duren, just an insane game. Richie Beno would have loved to announce that he had 22 points and 22 rebounds. He also had 3 assists and shot 67%, and he has been one of the huge surprises of this season to me. I just didn't think that he was going to take this level of elevation. Cade had 31 with 10 assists, and Rugged Ronnie Holland played 28 minutes with the absence of Toby, which is what I thought would happen in the first one, but it didn't, clearly. This is a good game. I'm not going to overreact. He's more just streaming. 9-6-4, 2 steals, and a block, while Asar Thompson, hey, we go. Didn't hit 10% of his free throws. 18-7 steal, block, 67 from the line, 58 from the field. We will take that every day of the week. Sam Robinson had 9 points with 3 threes, and, what else did you think was going to happen? The fourth game involves 2 bad teams as well. The Washington Wizards and the Boston Celtics. The Celtics win it incredibly easily. 136-107. Let's start with the Washington side of this. Their lineup was the same, no Chris Middleton, and that meant that Little Bubbles, Justin Champagnie, started. Now, the line looks all right. 12-5, a steal. Pretty good. But he is starting, and he still played under 20 minutes for the second consecutive start. And he was out of the rotation. And in order to even get this, he had to shoot 100%. Do not bother adding Justin Champagnie. But do bother feeling very good about yourself if you drafted Alex Sarr. 31-8 with 4 threes and 3 blocks, shooting 60 from the field on 20 attempts. Bro, This is maybe getting a little bit too far, but is there a chance of a top 25 finish? Maybe. Also, somehow Marvin Bagley had 11-5. And we also had a lot of minutes from Bubbles Carrington. 31 minutes for him, 3 points. He did have 6 assists, but I honestly, unless I'm in a 200-player deep league, I couldn't care less. CJ McCollum, we have to do it, don't we? In fact, why don't we push the washed watch into the jack?
Get that garbage out of here!
Yeah, he played 19 minutes, he had 3 points. Bilal left early with an injury. He played 16 minutes for 1 point, missed all 5 of his shots, and he's still Bilal from the Wiz. He has some good games, then he has a lot of bad ones, because this is what he did last season as well. He comes out the first game, you go, there we go, it's happening. Oh no, he's actually bad again. If you added him, you have more faith in him than I do, so you will hold him. We'll see what this injury is. I don't think it's anything significant, but it's also after one good game, it's not been good. It hasn't been good. And I do not think that he will end up as a guy that will need to be held. You can hold for now, but I don't think it'll end up that way. Dick Johnson had 7 points in 24 minutes, nothing else. He is an empty stats player in college and in the NBA. We'll see what other stuff happens, but for now, Trey is just not someone we're getting excited about. And we actually got a real stinker from Keyshawn George. 9 points, 33%, no defense, no threes, bad free throws. I did have him on the Sal High show, but a lot of this stuff here is going to be better, so don't get too crazy about it. This game was so much garbage time. We had 17 minutes of the Malacca, Malachi Branham. Yeah, he plays for this team. He is terrible, but he got in because it was just a disaster. So now we can talk Celtics, because obviously some interesting stuff. They had the same lineup. That meant that Josh Minott got his, 6th consecutive start. And last game was really bad for Minott. 15 minutes, bad. This game, 34 minutes, 21 points, 3 threes, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. Yeah. He shot 67 from the field, which of course will not continue. But these are the games. These are the ones where you go, this is why. This is why I was like, we grab him. It's been up and down. But every time you hear a Celtics media person or even fans, they're like, yeah, he needs to keep starting every game. Now, it won't be clean. It won't be easy. And I understand, especially in a points league, if you don't want to hold, that's okay. But more often than not, they will try to go to him more often than the others behind him because of what he is providing and making them look better. Jaylen Brown is just taking every shot. He is on a huge, huge roll. Snap, crackle, pop. It is a huge sell high on Jaylen Brown because not only look at the shooting percentage, 62%, and the huge volume. The worry is going to be an injury and this team being bad at some point. The buy lows on Derik White and Peyton Pritchard are still a little bit in effect, although both guys shot well. 18, 2, and 5 for Pritchard on 58%, while White actually hit 50%, but he had 12, 3, and 8, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Overall, I don't think you can complain from that game anyway. And then the Pastel Donata Namesh Keita, 15 and 12 with 5 assists, a steal, and a block, perfect from the field. He does remain a 12-team league guy. What about Anthony Simons? Again, he's the let's see how long your attention span is player. By that I mean, you look at the start of the box score and you go, well, especially on this stupid new ESPN box score, you got 18 points. You go, all right, boys, we are flying, we're off, we're ready to go. And then he has 0 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Bro, didn't attempt a single free throw. At this point, he's a points and threes specialist, points and threes streamer who's not even a top 150 points league player. I talked about him on the waiver-wire show saying he's probably droppable, especially if against shallow. Let's call it, man. I think if you want to move on, and for example, Jusuf Nurkic is there.
Get that garbage out of here!
I don't see where the role changes. Sam Hauser did nothing, 3 points on 13%. Well, Jordan Walsh got 24 minutes. Now, he's a very deep steals guy, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth, but it does feel like that core 5 starting group is locked in. Pritchard, White, Brown, Minott, and Keita. And then everyone else sort of fighting for stuff behind them. Now we can talk about the New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Knicks win this one easily. 137-114. We'll start off with the Timberwolves, who did get Goose back. Anthony Edwards returned, and that means that Mike Conley moved to the bench. Ant was subpar. 15 points, 29 minutes, 39% shooting. At the moment, huge bust if you took him at in the first round anyway. Huge bust. There's a long way to go though. He was clearly on some sort of minutes limit, playing just 29. Do you think there's maybe a chance he came back too early? I don't know. Yeah. I've never seen it happen, so it's probably not the case. We hope it's not. Julius Randle's ridiculous run continues. His efficiency remains high, 57% from the field, 32, 5, and 4 with 3 threes. So further establishing your sell high credentials here, because he did it with Ant back. It is going to fall, but he is on fire. And the big Ragu, 21, 3, and 4 with 5 threes. You love this. You love that he played 36 minutes as well and was able to succeed with Edwards returning. Naz Reid, yeah. We're not quite at the 12-team drop for Naz, but 5 and 6, 21 minutes. It's not enough. I guess the only way you're holding him is you're waiting for somebody to get hurt. Because when the guys are all there, it's not happening. Speaking of the guys, maybe I think I'm going to bring it back out of the retirement. Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert.
Gobert had 7 and 9, 100% shooting, 28 minutes, ho-hum. Now, the sell high on Jaden McDaniels is done because this is what happens. His shooting was way up. His usage was way up. They both came down 13, 4, and 3, which is not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's definitely like back end. It's your second worst or your worst player. And that's who he is when he's playing with Randle and with Edwards. And when they go out, he steps up. Great. Mike Conley still delivered 6 assists, but we don't really care about that in the majority of formats. Let's move it across. We're going to talk about the New York Knicks side now. A huge win for them. Was it a revenge game from Karl Anthony Towns? 15 and 10. Probably not. 4 assists, 2 blocks, 46% shooting. But Mitchie Robinson was dominant on the boards. 10 rebounds, 9 offensive, I believe. Yeah, 9 offensive and 3 blocks. If you have Mitch Robinson, this is why. But also, it's 16 minutes. He's going to take games off. He is not a must roster. For some of you, he will make sense. But he is not like, I can't believe Mitch is out there. I've got to grab him. That's not who he is. The Jedi continues to really thrive. OG Anunoby, 25 scarves, 3 threes, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, a block, 59% from the field. He is carried over from the second half of last season, while Mikal Bridges continues to be low usage. But he does have more assists. Again, 5 assists, 3 threes, 13 points, 2 blocks. Brunson was pretty good. 23, 7, and 10. Okay, here's the question. I was very much like, don't want to take Jalen Branson. Jesus, got Richard's son. Jalen Brunson in round 2. To me, he was like a round 3 to start of round 4 player for standard leagues. How do you feel? Did you take him in round 2? Are you happy with that? You could be. Like, I'm not saying not to be. Like, to me, he's been sort of what I anticipated him to be, which is a back-end 3rd, start of 4th round player. Nothing bad, but not that round 2 level of guy. And I don't really think there's much else to go on there for the old Knicks. Look at the rest of the games to cover, plus lines of the night. Before we do that, today's episode, though, is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there is no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game or you said, I wanted to bet on that team, well, you can actually get in live and you can do things as the game is happening. You got live bets for everything from who's going to score next to picking the fourth quarter comebacks. And you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It gets everything cracking. You can use your knowledge, your ability to read the game and use it to maybe get some money from it. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, the next game is the 6th game of the day. It's the Houston Rockets and the Memphis Grizzlies. The Rockets win this one pretty easily, 124-109. We'll talk about whatever the problems are in Memphis at the moment because they are horrendous. But for now, let's start with the Rockets. They went with the same starting lineup. Steven Adams was out in this one with hip flexor tightness, but that doesn't change a huge amount because the buy low bump has happened. The buy low is over for Amen Thompson. 28, 10, 7, 2 steals, 26 shot attempts, and he hit his only free throw. Bro, all right. We're not fully all the way back, but we're getting there. We're getting there. The delicate dancer, 20 and 16, 7 assists for Alperen Şengün. Good free throws, bad field goals. What is also weird about him, remember in the opening game he took like 8 threes? He takes 2 a game now. I don't know what happened, but that's not the thing he's doing anymore. We've also got a big offensive game. Is it? It's not a tautology. What is it? Just a random thing. Josh Okogie, 13 points, 3 threes, 3 assists, and 2 steals. We can largely ignore it. We also got 32 minutes out of Tari this season. Tari postseason. 32 minutes, 16 and 5, 4 threes, steal, block. And after his opening night nonsense, he's back inside the top 100 and a must-roster player. Jabari played 36. He was pretty good. He is one of those guys who's a bit of a nightcap fluffer, so just be cautious about where his value is. And one thing you do have to talk about, and I know you're going to be critical of this guy because Kevin Durant sucked. 11, 4, and 5 with a 1-1 is terrible. No free throws, terrible. He shot 28%, which is also something you never get from Kevin Durant. I just think it's a bad game. I'm not concerned that he's lost it, that he's washed. He's definitely not on wash watch. Not at all. But this is a really bad game. But there are a lot of people who could step up. We got the little tease from Reed Shepherd, 12 points, 2 threes, 2 steals, but only 17 minutes, and it's not enough. If Udoka won't give him the playing time when Adams does not even play, and Dorian Finney-Smith still is out, it doesn't matter.
Get that garbage out of here.
As much as I'd like him to play more, it's just not a thing that is looking like it's going to happen. Now we talk about whatever's going on with the Grizzlies. Does this team just hate this coach now? Thomas Isolo with his hard-assed approach, which he used over in Europe, and these short stint rotations, and the players just aren't responding. Ja Morant has been horrific. 17 points. Okay, that's not horrific, but 32%. Can't hit threes. 8 assists, stealing a block, and then Jaren Jackson takes 1 shot in the first half. He ended up with 9 points, but he had 6 rebounds. He had 1 steal. He had 5 blocks. It feels like something is happening here. Are the players protesting Isolo? Is Isolo going to win them back? Is Isolo going to get fired? Because, yeah, you can say that Zach Edey's not there and Scottie Pippen's not there and Ty Jerome's not there. But imagine like with a straight face going, yeah, we're only bad because we don't have Ty Jerome. I know there are other players and they are banged up, right? But this shouldn't be as bad as it is. Edey is a must-roster player. But we need to see how everything works here. Very good game from Cam Spencer. Not that we need to care too much. 19 points with 5 threes. It's just deeper league stuff while those other guards are out. And Cedric Howard did not have a good game. Finally, the shots did not go in. But what I like about it, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. He shot 20%, and he'd been shooting like 70% every game. And that brought him down. But we're still seeing like these... Like, he's good. He's a very useful, real-life, on-call player. But his fantasy appeal... It's sort of, you know what it is? It's like 80% Christian Brown from last season. It's like, oh, he was shooting really well, but like, is there enough volume in these other spots? I think you do hold him, but I think our expectations need to be cautious with him. Jock Landale played 21 minutes, 11 3 threes, steal block. Just roll with him until Edey returns, I think. And then KCP, I think we might actually just be here with him. He had 4 points. He had 2 steals, but he shot 13%. He has been atrocious. You do not roster him in 130s, 150s, 170s, or 200 player leagues. Don't do it. Jalen Wells was, I was going to say slightly better. Not really. He had 8 points in 20 minutes. I thought he was obviously terrible for fantasy last season, despite starting. But I thought maybe there was an extra step. Not happening. Just not happening for him, so we don't worry about it. But what we also saw here was a better game from Santi Aldama. 26 minutes, 16 and 4, 2 steals and a block. I just can't commit with this guy because it'll be this. The next game will be 8 points in 22 minutes. And then Edey will return. And then where will he sit? Like, if you want to hold him, go for it. I can't, in good conscience, tell you that he's a guy you have to have. The upside is too low. The downside is not good enough to be held. And it's all over the place with too much inconsistency. But if you are going to be in the Aldama business, you've got to have him and commit to him. Because if you just say, well, bad game, I drop him, the next one will probably be good. And then you go pick him back up again. The next one's probably bad. You just got to say, well, I'm having him, I'm holding him for 2 weeks, and we'll see what we get. Because that's sort of what the production's been from him so far. This next one's a tough one to talk about because I want both of them to lose. Pelicans and Mavs. Not because I've got anything against the fans. I want the fans of all teams, unless they're dickheads to me, but I want fans of all teams to have success. I want these teams to lose because I want to punish their front office for stupid decisions. But it is the Pelicans that get the victory over the Mavs, 101-99. No Zion, and then also no Jordan Poole. So Jordan Poole moved back out of the starting lineup, of course, because he didn't play. But it was the depressed penis, Sadiq Bey, who moved into that starting group, and he had a really good game. 22-9 with 4 threes. I do not believe that Bey is a 12-team league ad. I think he's more of a 175, 14-team league ad. He's had opportunities plenty of times, and even on this team, I don't think he can do this regularly enough to make it worth it. Trey Murphy, 11-9, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block on poor shooting. Well, Herb Jones, I don't know what to say about Herb. I do believe in a category league you've got to roster him. In a points league, 12-team, nope, don't have to worry about it. Do not bother with it. Don't bother. He's not elevating any of that offensive stuff. The category stuff is there, but it's not enough at the moment. We need more. Jeremiah Fears, only 25 minutes. Last game, remember, under 20. And there was no Poole here. We hold, but he's doing the thing that I thought he might be, and that is be horribly inefficient as a rookie point guard. 18 years of age as well. 13, 5, and 3 on 33%. Hold him for now. But that meant that we got Jose Alvarado. 13, 8 rebounds, 3 threes. Not as good as the game yesterday, but still really good. I don't think you want to do much with Jose here. Now, if Jordan Poole remains out, then yes. And if you want to do it, I get it, but I don't think it's a long-term thing. We have to also talk about the Blizzard, Derik Queen, who, for some reason, played the final 15 minutes of the game again and ended up with a solid line. 11, 7, and 2 with 3 steals, but this time at least he played 26 minutes in total. I think that you can consider him while Zion is out. I don't think it's going to be great. I think there'll be some good games in there. The worry is always the fit with Zion, but if we say don't do it because Zion will be back, well, we could be talking about that in February. So if you want to add Derik, do it. Like I would prefer to take the upside flyer on Derik than I would with Alvarado or with Bay, because there's that multi-categorical potential. There's an opening of minutes here, and that's an interesting upside play. It is, again, also worth remembering that Yves Missi also out. So 3 starters if you want to class Poole as a starter: Zion, Poole, and Missi. I do think we'll get to a stage that Missi's already a drop. That Fears is a drop. The Queen's okay at the moment, but there is a lot that is working in his direction to make it easier for now, for the short term. But we still can use the short term, can't we? What about the Dallas side of things? Well, that happened, guys. They did it. They benched Klay Thompson and they moved Cooper Flagg to his real position. And what did Cooper Flagg do playing at the 3? Actually, that's not true. His position's the 4. What did he do? Just 20 and 9 with 3 steals and 2 blocks. Cool. Talk about how it's harder to get blocks playing a point guard and you can't do the thing that he needs to do. This is it. This is why. I'm glad that they made this move. He was still relatively inefficient, shooting 42%, but the usage was up. He took the most shots on the team. And that's obviously, a huge bonus. So what about Klay? Obviously, no one's rostering Klay Thompson, hopefully in any 120, 130, 150, 170, 200-man leagues. There's no point for it, even though it was one of his better games. 21 minutes off the bench, 11, 4, and 3 with 3 threes. As for D'Lo, okay, so what do we do now? 21 minutes for D'Lo off the bench, 9 points, 2 threes. You would have thought, moving back into that starting group, that, okay, here we go, it's a little bit more safety in his minutes. Nope. We got 19 Brandon Williams minutes instead, and we got 27 minutes from Max Christie. I don't believe that D'Lo is going to be a guy all season, because we're going to have the return of Kyrie eventually, and then AD is going to come back here, and it's going to be a lot of squishy stuff going on. If you want to hold him, do it, but that's very much not encouraging, as you can tell. PJ had 15-11 with 2 blocks, and Danny Gafford, 25 minutes. If you can at all sell high on Danny Gafford, do it. 15-8 with 2 steals and 2 blocks. There is absolutely no debate whatsoever that Gafford can put up stats, big numbers, huge fantasy performances. But Davis and Lively are out. And when they're back, he probably won't start and he probably won't play 25 minutes. But use him for now. Stream him through for now. But understand that I don't think that there is long-term value in what he's doing, because I just don't think he's going to be able to hold this role all season. The next game, Miami Heat, Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets win it, 122-112. The bigger thing here, though, is Bam Adebayo. Idris left after 8 minutes. He scored 2 points. He has a foot issue. And we don't, at the time we're recording this, hopefully I get an update at the end of the show. I don't know what's wrong. But a foot on a big man is terrifying. Superman played 27 minutes. He had 13 and 13, 4 steals and a block with 2 threes. Just add him immediately. Add him. Spoelstra does not want to play Bam and Ware together. But if Bam's not there, then it's all Ware. So go for it. You have to, really. We'll see where it goes. If Bam is fine, we make the move and drop later. Good rebound from Jaime Jaquez. He shot unbelievably well again. 64%, 21, 3, and 2 with a steal, while Wigo had 22, 4, and 5, and 2 steals. And Norman Powell also had 20 points. Big scoring from those 3. What about Davion? The 9 assists are nice. Again, he's just being South Beach Isaiah Collier. 10 points, 9 assists. Streaming for assists, using for assists. That's it. And Pelle Larsson didn't do anything, 6 points in his 24 minutes. I do think that Jaquez does remain a 12-team guy for now. I just don't know that it will stick at that level as we move forward. The Denver side of things, same lineup for them, which it is basically every game, which means they're pretty healthy. Big Chungus, 33 actually, 15 and 16 with 3 steals, elite field goals, elite free throws. He is on a incredibly hot run at the moment. They're also playing him after, claiming they got to keep his minutes down and be really cautious and not burn him out. 37 here. Part of the reason why I was like, I'm not sure where Jokic is, because I think they're going to try and pull his minutes back, which they did, and now they're not anymore. They've just abandoned that. And they've got a capable backup in Jonas Valanciunas, who played only 11 minutes here, but they are just leaning into Jokic a lot. Christian Braun didn't shoot well, but what I loved from this, and this is what you don't get from him, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Enjoy that. It's a weird one, but that's not what he does. Aaron Gordon was great. Jamal Murray's hit a little bit of a soft patch, 27% from Murray shooting. 14, 8, and 3, 2 steals and a block, but at least he contributed in those other spots, while Peyton Watson missed every shot. But he had 10 rebounds and he had 2 blocks. And there is at least streamability in that. I tell you where there's not streamability at the moment, and that's Cam Johnson. 23 minutes, 30% shooting, 9, 2, and 1 with 2 threes. Now, if you are a nightcap fluffer, if you are someone who loves the low efficiency, the low turnovers and the value of percentages, you'll be inclined to hold Cam Johnson. I don't care that much about that. So I don't think his upside is high enough to deal with this fitting in nonsense. He's not playing 30 minutes. To me, he was a back-end player anyway, so I don't care. If you want to move on from him, go ahead and do it. I think it's totally reasonable to do that. John Armstrong.
Get that garbage out of here.
He will be better than this, though. But obviously, they can run Timmy Hardaway, who had 18 points and 4 threes, and they can run Peyton Watson out there, and he is just not playing well, Cam Johnson. And when your value is tied to 32 minutes on high-level efficiency, and you're not getting any of those things, I'll do something else with that roster spot, I think. Let's go through these last games of the night. Warriors and the Kings. And honestly, I don't really know how much we can take out of this game for very clear reasons. Well, I think they're clear reasons. We just had a million starters out from both teams. Let's start with the Warriors. We knew that Steph was going to be out. They announced it yesterday. Jimmy Butler, we thought would be out, dealing with the back problem. And then when those guys are out, they usually just sit Draymond. And they did. So they're all out. We did get the return of Al Horford, but their starting lineup consisted of Moody, Brandon Podziemski, Jonathan Kuminga, Quinton Post, and then someone who'd been out of the rotation, Willie Dick, jumped in. Let's start with Will Richard. 35 minutes for Richard, 30 points, 5 threes, 7 rebounds, 67% shooting. Elite stuff. But who cares? Well, what do we do with it? Because all those players that are out, and maybe Jimmy misses Friday as well, there's just nothing to see here. And you can say that with Podziemski, who was very good. 14, 9, and 9. But he still only took 10 shots, and that's with all those guys out. And Kuminga had 24 and 9 in 36 minutes. Awesome first half, terrible second half. But like I said, the 3 main guys aren't there. How do we judge it? And that brings us to Moody, who yesterday, I was like, I don't know why you would stream him in. I know players are going to be out, but it's for one game on an 11-game day. I don't think he'll be as good. Well, very clearly a stupid call from me. I think the process is still makes sense, but obviously, if you did stream in Moody, what a result. 28 points, 6 threes, 2 steals, 4 blocks. He did everything. He got your defensive stats out of nowhere. He shot 60% from the field. Again, he had huge usage and 39 minutes. But again, do we just go at him? I don't think so. Did he play 9 minutes the last game before the guys were injured? So, yeah, this is great, but we're losing 33 from Steph and 34 from Jimmy and 29 from Draymond. 3 starting positions, 3 guys who were the main cogs of the offense. And Moody's going to go back to fighting Hield, Richard, Podziemski, Santos, Gary Payton, all those sort of guys. So while it's great to see Richard do it, it's great to see Moody do it, it's great to see Podziemski do it, I don't think there's any carryover, honestly, until the next game. And unfortunately, look, the same story sort of sits for the other game as well, or the other side of the game, and that's the Sacramento Kings, because Not only was Zach LaVine out, ill, but Domantas Sabonis was also out. So whatever you're looking at in this game, it's hard to judge it. In their place, it was Nick Clifford that started alongside Drew Eubanks. Eubanks was fine, 12 and 6 with 2 blocks, interesting stream. Clifford was fine, 12 and 3 with 3 threes. But the big performers, again, Russell Westbrook was huge. 35 minutes, 23, 16, and 10 with a steal on 69% shooting. He did the thing. Everyone's out. The efficiency's up. He puts up big numbers. Now, he has been way better than I thought he would be. I did not think he was going to be worth adding because I did not believe that prioritizing 37-year-old Russell Westbrook on a team like this would make a lot of sense. But that's what the Kings have done. So that looks to be a wrong decision for me. But do not use this game as your baseline for what Westbrook is going to do. No LaVine, no Sabonis, no Murray. 3 starters all out. Much like on the other side. So Schroeder was also good. 18, 7, and 7. DeRozan, probably his best game, 25, 2, and 2. And even Malik Monk had 21, 4, and 2. But none of this stuff has real repeatability because of who is out. And I don't think there's any sort of longevity in LaVine's absence or Sabonis being out. But honestly, I'm very clearly wrong. I did not think that they would be prioritizing Russell Westbrook as their main guy. But they are. We'll see what happens when everybody returns. And I really don't think that he's going to start when Murray, Sabonis, and LaVine are all there. But for now, he's putting up good numbers, and I was wrong on that. I think you'd also be a little surprised if you're saying all these guys are out and saying Keon Ellis will get 17 minutes on 5% usage and go scoreless. They hate him. They just don't like playing him. He had 2 steals. That's fine. But you cannot be rostering him in 12-10 leagues.
Get that garbage out of here!
Unfortunately, Jack, that is true. Now we'll go to look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Losing their first game of the season. Got pretty close. 121-119 to the Trailblazers. The Thunder were without Lou Dort and Chet Holmgren, so Aaron Wiggins started and AJ Mitchell started. Well, at least he started the first half. Mitchell was really good in this game, 64%, 21, 4, and 3 with a steal. We talked about him, and if you wanted to make preemptive drops, it might hurt you short term, but long term I thought it'll be okay. This was a good game, but obviously look who's out. Chet, Caruso, Dort, Jalen Williams. Like, that's a lot of players out. Aaron Wiggins also, 27 with 7 threes and 3 steals. You stream these guys in when opportunities arise, and that's it. And I think we might be getting a Shea rest game coming up soon. He looks pretty exhausted, 35, 9, and 4, and didn't shoot well at all, although the free throws were awesome. The Hong Kong mattress got his 3 steals. Cason Wallace played 36 minutes. 5 points is bad, but 8 rebounds and 5 assists. But again, it's the same story. 4 starters or starter-adjacent players, including Caruso, means that those minutes bump up. And when players are there, he's not going to do that. You can definitely roster him, but it does not have to be this case for everybody. I know a lot of people, it's actually someone left a comment when I talked about Isaiah Joe earlier in the waiver-wire show today. They said, man, I don't understand your analysis of him. He's a great shooter. He hit 2.5 threes last season. It's true, but he doesn't do anything else. And if he's not hitting 5 a game like he did in those first couple of games, there's not a lot there to get excited about. Joe did start the second half. He had 13 points with 0 rebounds and 2 assists. He hit 3 threes, but he went 33% from the field, and that is just not good enough. It's a 3-point stream guy. It's a deeper league option, and the same problem encases him as it does with Wallace, as it does with Mitchell, as it does with Wiggins. There's just not enough minutes to go around for all of these guys unless there are 4 of the top 6 guys out, which is exactly what the situation was here. That will bring us over to talk about the Portland Trailblazers side of this game. The Blazers were able to go in with the same starting group, and the same sort of problem hit Donovan Clingan again. Now, he did have 2 steals and 2 blocks, but 25 minutes with 7 points and 29% shooting. He is, for a big man, a horrible finisher. His offensive game is bad, and they prefer going small a lot. There are some real worries about what Clingan is going to do rest of season. We do hold for now, but it's not great. Dwop Reith played pretty well, weirdly enough. There was no real role for Rob Williams, only 4 minutes there. Well, Denny Avdia, one of the weirdest stat lines you'll see. 26, 10, and 9 with 2 steals and a block is great, but he shot 29%. Luckily, he was able to go 15 of 16 from the line to post a huge performance, and we also got a big game from Shaedon Sharpe, but still low minutes again. 23 minutes for Shaedon, 18 and 6 with 3 steals and a block. Those results are great. You're just worried about the playing time. Jeremy Grant continues his strong run. He has been a completely different player this season. 20 and 5 with 5 assists, while Kamara played a lot. The game is not awesome. 16-5-2 with a block, but still remains a 12-team league player. And Drew, also nice bounce back. 22-6-2 for him after a bit of a down game the last time we saw him. And then we get a weird ending to a weird day of games. The Lakers and the Spurs. The Lakers do win it in the end, 118-116, but not after some weirdness of a bad Marcus Smart pass into a turnover, into a foul at the buzzer, then Julian Champagnie missing the foul shots. Anyway, we'll talk about this Spurs side of things. Wemby fouled out in this game. He has been on a not great run. 19-8, stealing a block, excellent free throws, bad field goals. I think that the Harper being out is hurting him because he's a real point guard who sets him up, and you had Chris Paul doing that last season as well. And Castle's getting good assists, but he's not quite the same level of playmaker, and bringing Darren Fox back will help. Now, as for Castle, it's like a reverse of what he's been doing. Well, he still had the high turnovers, but 16 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, but 27%, and 82 from the line on 10 attempts. That's just not what he's been up to really all season. Then we talk about the rest of these guys. We had a few guys making their season debuts, Jeremy Sohan and Kelly Olynyk. Olynyk was in the game at the end because of Wemby fouling out. He only played 9 minutes. We don't worry about him. And then Luke Cornett come back will make that a little bit harder to figure out even as well. As for Sohan, 16 points on 86% shooting. He's not a shooter like that. We know that. I don't think a performance like this from Sohan is something that we need to get excited about or rush to add or anything along those lines. Like it's not anything super repeatable. Vassell continues to struggle, and I do think when we get Fox back especially that he may end up being a drop. What we did get in this game though is the pencil Harrison Barnes. Barnesy. 14-6, 4 threes, good shooting, just providing that deeper league value. We can now go on to the Lakers side of things. And we know we had Luka Doncic returning in this game, but Austin Reeves still out. As for Doncic, 35, 9, 13, 5 steals, 2 steals, 4 threes, just generational run type stuff. The percentages are a problem, but these are good numbers, and obviously huge from Ayton as well, 22 and 10, and Marcus Smart also providing streaming value. When Reeves is back, it's hard to get excited about Smart, but 17, 5, and 5 with a 1-1 is good. We had the original pencil on the Spurs side of things. Do we get a good game from the Empitsu? Not really. 15 and 2, 2 threes, 1 steal, bad from the line. Not a guy that needs to be rostered in 12s. Also, not a good Jake LaRavia game. Not only did he cause the foul at the end, but bad shooting, bad free throws, not the full contribution across the board, 8, 6, and 1. But I love the minutes. If Reeves remains out, I think you could hold him, but I do think that Austin will be back for their game on Friday. So if you needed to make a decision on dropping someone, and LaRavia was one of those options, I think you'd feel okay about it. Let's do the lines of the night so we can get out of here. The monstrous does go to Nikola Jokic. It was very close with him and Luka Doncic. 33, 15, 16, and 3 steals for Jokic. Your waiver wire line of the night is Moses Moody. Elite 3-point shooting, great scoring, big defensive numbers, 28 points, 2 steals, and 4 blocks. Your young gun of the night, he's going to win a lot of these. It is Alexander Sarr, who had a huge game against the Celtics, but it was a blowout loss. Sarr had 31-8 with 3 blocks. And then your dud of the night. A lot of guys went out of games early injured, and we're not going to include those guys. But the dud of the night for someone who played a full game, we're talking Keyshawn George. 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists. And that is the end of a big recap show for Wednesday. Don't forget to thumb it up, leave your comments, hype it if you're on the YouTube mobile app. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.